Welcome back to Ask the Attorney. Today we've got Kevin Kennedy of the Kennedy Law Firm in Clarksville with us. And
lots of good calls tonight.
All over the board today. We've had all types of questions, so keep those coming. Again, civil, criminal, family law. I mean, Kevin can handle anything. So
yeah, we love to share. We love to help, and that's one of the great things about this broadcast, and it's been that way I guess we've been doing it a number of years now.
Yeah, and it's a great opportunity to get free legal advice, which is rare to be able to do that.
And it's valuable. I still believe that.
Yes, definitely. So 737+, that number's at the bottom of your screen. We're going to take some more calls here. We've got Lynn. Hi, Lynn. Lynn, are you there?
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How can we help you today?
I have a question about a grandson.
Okay.
I had a son who passed away in 2003, and he had a little boy, and I was seeing the little boy every other weekend, but after my son died, the mother won't let me see the little boy no more. And he's 7 years old, and I haven't seen him since he was 2. So I want to know, do I have any kind of rights?
And grandparent visitation rights.
Right. There's always a lot of dispute, but what would Kevin Kennedy say? He would say, absolutely, you come and see us, and then you probably have to file a petition and go in front of the court. And you could maintain that there was a significant relationship between you and that child, and it's in the best interest of the child to carry on that relationship. And, you know, we get all these cases. They say, well, there's no grandparent visitation in Tennessee. Well, that's one body of thought. But when you get filed with that petition and it gets into an ordeal, somebody all of a sudden said, what can we do to settle it? Just let us have 1 weekend a month. Let us have 1 weekend every 2 months. Let us have some time, because it really is important. And if you don't move, a few years go by and then the child all of a sudden is 13 and they're not interested in visiting. And you need to take that time to teach them about your family and teach them about your core values. If you believe in going to church, teach the child. So what is more important than that? Nothing. It's truly priceless. So I want to encourage you, pursue it with a vigor, and I really believe that you probably get some relief.
All right. I think we've got, let's see, Brian here. Hi, Brian. Brian? Are you with us? All right, we'll try to get Brian later. Let's try Bob. Bob, are you there?
Yeah, sure am.
Okay, go ahead, Bob.
Hey, Kevin. My question's about wills and probate.
All right.
Now, if you have a will, my father just passed away here just recently, and he had a will that just made me as the sole
beneficiary.
Beneficiary, and not my sister. If I'm dead, at his time of death, then it goes to my sister and my wife. But it's cut and dry on the will itself.
Okay.
And, as far as, who gets what. Now, do you have to have an attorney to probate this, or does it have to be probated? And if it does, what does a lawyer generally charge? Fair amount.
Well, first off, as a general rule, and you've got a will, it should be probated. And what does probate mean? You prove the will. Sometimes the estates are so small that would take a little more investigation to find out how large the estate is. Many times lawyers do the will for a very nominal fee, probate it. If it gets into a larger estate, then lawyers charge a 1%, a 2% fee of the estate to handle it, because there's forms that also have to be filled out with a federal tax form exemption and a state tax form. So, and it's really complicated, so you always like someone else to help you do it. Now we have another form, if there's real estate involved, that you've got to get a release from Medicare or Medicaid, because they could maintain, hey, we spent all this money and we've got a lien on the house if there was some real estate involved. So what would I share with you? I'd go see a lawyer, sit up and look in the phone book, and they say, well, they do wills, estates. Then you can call 2 or 3 and just question them right over the phone. Just be vigilant about your pursuit of that.
All right. Got Bill here. Hi, Bill.
Hi there.
Hi. Go ahead, Bill.
Listen, this is kind of confusing maybe, but I applied. I'm retired and disabled, but I had a couple of years ago my house, by federal government standards, come out and do what they had to do, $5,000-$6,000 worth of repairs, and then they required my landlord to show some improvements on his own. He's done nothing. And I've been injured walking up the driveway and, slipping, falling, and ripping my arm apart. But the thing about this is that he doesn't want to do anything.
Okay, well, first off, it could fall under the Tennessee Residential Landlord Act, and there are certain standards. You can always call building and codes. If you've got a problem in the house that is substandard to the codes, then the codes people can come out, they'll issue a citation, they'll send it to the landlord, and he's going to have to correct those things, and they have the power to condemn property. Now, you'd have to move out, and you say, well, I really didn't want to start all that. But again, if it's a government property, there's standards. If it's a private property, there's standards. And if it's a hazardous situation, then I just tell you to document it. And sometimes it gets down where people say, yes, I understand the government's told me I'm going to have to put a new roof. I don't have the money for a new roof, so you can move out, and I'm just going to either sell this property or whatever. So we do hear those circumstances. I think the first step, go to the government, go to the building codes, let them come in and see what they have to say.
All right, we've got Cecilia with the question tonight. Hi, Cecilia.
Hello there.
Hi.
Yes, Mr. Kennedy?
Yes, ma'am.
My mother was murdered back in 1977 in Warren County, Tennessee. Well, I was 13 years old, but now that I'm older, I have been trying to get police reports, any kind of evidence for her murder, and no one is willing to give me anything. They're saying that they don't have any kind of evidence, police report, or anything.
And the case is closed?
And they said that I would have to go to the county in regards to information. So what would you say I should do?
And has anyone ever been convicted of her murder?
No, it's unsolved to this day.
Okay.
Right. Well, where I would start, just like what you said, if you could find out who the investigating officer from 77, they may have already passed away. That's been a substantial period of time. Is there a law requiring the evidence to be kept, or is there a policy within the police department that they destroy evidence after so long? I'm not sure about that. Do you have a right to file a lawsuit, issue a subpoena for the custodians of that evidence? Absolutely. So if there was something there and you said, I just want to get to it, then you can pursue it. And I don't see anything wrong with if you said, I'd like to have a meeting with the chief of police and just say, this is what happened, or the county sheriff, this is what can you do?
In the Open Records Act, potentially she could get some information
Absolutely.
there if it's not an active investigation at some point. And I know
squeaky door gets the oil, so you just have to keep going.
As a reporter, I covered the cold case unit in Metro, and it seems like the family members who are those squeaky wheels who keep calling the police departments, they're the ones that, I mean, it may be 20, 25 years later, but they finally see justice, and it's incredible when that happens. All right, we've got Martha who's been waiting. Hi, Martha.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I have a question about workman's comp. I was injured on the job, and it was for the school system, so it's public sector, not private.
Okay.
I crushed my arm and had a plate and screws put in my arm and was treated with physical therapy, but he never said, I had improved enough to go back to work. And in the meantime, after that, I got cancer and ended up on Social Security disability.
All right.
And so I called the doctor back not long ago and said, I think my arm is getting worse. I'm losing fine motor skills in my fingers, and that I maybe thought I could use some physical therapy again might help. And he says, well, as far as he's concerned, he had discharged me, and that he understood I was on disability, and I just needed to do my exercises at home. Now, I never got a lump sum for my arm or anything. I got workman's comp for the 6 months, and then, ended up on a disability retirement. Am I eligible for a lump sum for my arm?
Yeah, the question gets down to is how long has it been? If it's been over a year since they paid you some temporary total disability payments under your workers' comp claim, they can come back and say statute of limitations has run. As a general rule, you've got 1 year with a personal injury to file a claim. And, you know, if I had a car wreck with Amy and Amy's insurance kept saying, okay, Kevin, just go on, go on, go on, and they lead me past 1 year, and I'd say, hey, guys, y'all said y'all were going to pay me for this, and they say, hey, 1 year, you let the statute run, we don't owe you anything. Now, I don't know what your circumstances are, but if you crushed an arm and you received some temporary disability through workers' comp, it sounds to me like somebody should have given you a permanent disability rating, which would have required a lump sum payment to you. If they never gave a disability rating and your time ran, which I don't know those, but that's what I would send you to talk to a workers' comp lawyer tomorrow, because again, that case may still be open.
Yeah, you don't want to sleep on those rights for sure. We've got Shannon here. Hi, Shannon. Shannon, are you with us?
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
I am with you. Yes, I have a complicated situation. I'm married. However, my husband left me back in 2011. He's a disabled, 100% disabled veteran who has a mental illness and substance abuse disorder, who is not competent to handle his finances, and he has a fiduciary who is over his finances at this time. And the question I have is that I had my home when I married him, but in the meantime, I put his name on my deed, and but my mortgage payments are just with my name on it. What I'm trying to figure out here is that, is it any way that I can refinance my home without having his signature? Like I said, his name is on the deed, but he's not on the mortgage per se. He's in Alabama, and he, like I said, he has a fiduciary over his finances. He was required to pay me through probate court on half on the mortgage and a support allotment.
Okay, well, let me address that. First off, we're going to determine, has he been declared mentally incompetent? If he has, is there a conservator who's been appointed?
It sounds like maybe there has.
Maybe there has. So if that conservator has been there, he probably has the legal authority to sign your deed and sign your mortgage and to settle that part of that issue. If he's on the deed and he's not on the mortgage, they're not going to let you refinance that without a signature. So everyone should know, when you go and sign with a spouse or a partner, am I on the mortgage? Am I on the deed? It is easy. You can own property and not be liable for that mortgage. As a general rule, it's not like that, but there are exceptions to the rule. So we need to determine that. If he has not been determined, you could always file a petition in court, say this gentleman's not contributing to the taxes, the upkeep, or whatever, and sue him, get personal service on him, and then ask the court to divest his interest, invest it all in you, and then you get a court order and say, okay, Amy has no title to this property anymore. You got a court order. With that, you record it at the Register of Deeds, and then you can go mortgage it, you can sell it, you can do whatever, because all of her interests have been divested into me.
All right, interesting question there. We've got Janet here. Hi, Janet.
Yes.
How can we help you today?
Okay. Well, I was the one talking about the mortgage and my husband and so forth.
Okay.
Okay.
And so he here has left back in 2011, and he's been diagnosed as incompetent, mental illness, and
so it sounds like he does have a conservator then.
Yes, he does.
Well, do you have the ability to negotiate with that conservator and see if y'all can come to a realization that would be fair And sometimes it requires court approval, sometimes it doesn't require court approval. And obviously, he has no need for that real estate, and so you've got a good argument. All
right, well, we've got plenty more time to take some questions, so 737+ is the number, 737-7587, and we'll be back with Kevin Kennedy after this.